Hey, it's the right Rican, and it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. It's been weather's been crappy over here. Uh, can't wait for some sun and some nice weather to be out. Take the kids out to play in, but that's not what you come here to hear me talk about. So I'm going to talk about uh, today. I'm going to some interesting stories that people may not touch about, and some they may. One's going to be one won't. One's going to be what I find interesting, and my last one's going to be the dumbest story of the day. Um, but here we go. Let's share the first story. Now, I used to play college football. I played 2 years of college football, so I'm I love football as it is. But here, Georgia governor signs bill allowing college athletes to receive pay. And I think this is great news, especially in the fact that when it comes to it, um, it goes here. Where is it? The legislation, HB 617, states that participation in intercollegiate athletics control should should not infringe upon the rights of student athletes to over to control over their own names and any profit that is incurred from them. The funding will be placed in an escrow account and will not be available for use until the athlete departs from college. All right. That sounds cool to me. It's you're going to look at it, you're basically building kind of a trust fund for them. So like that when they do get out of college, they're not broke. And there's something else here that I like that goes here. The rule change, which applies to all universities and colleges in the Peach State, including private institutions, also mandates schools conduct a financial literacy and life skills workshop for a minimum of 5 hours at the beginning of the student athlete's first and third academic years. I think that's great. I think too many times you hear of athletes, college athletes, and when they get into the NFL, that they make all this money and they grow broke. It's sad. You got the they should have some sort of, I mean, I know the NFL does something, but it doesn't do enough. And I think something that colleges should prepare these college athletes for life after college. Especially, I think this is important for the ones who don't make it to the NFL. Let's say they get to make a little bit of money after college is over and they go undrafted in NFL. Or even let's say they go drafted or they sign undrafted free agent contracts and they get a little bit of money, they could learn what to do with that money. I think it's really important for them. So they should have this financial literacy. They should have this money. I mean, if you're using, let's say, for example, they have billboards and stuff with these college kids. They have billboards saying, either having their name, their images on it. There's no reason that these people should not be paid for that. I just think it's messed up. They've been doing that all these years. But you know, college sports is a big business. I mean, you have college coaches making millions of dollars a year and their players nothing. So I think this is, if you see here, it passed overwhelmingly 48 to 3 in the state house and 163 to 5 vote in their Senate. So, uh, or is it the legend? Okay. But from I'm here, what I'm reading here, at least 35 states 35 states have introduced bills that would allow college athletes to recoup compensation. Laws have been passed along that practice in California, Florida, among other areas. And like I said, I think this is something that it's important for these college athletes to get whatever little money they could get. Because not all these college athletes make it into the NFL. Um, but that's education. That's the education system. And speaking of that, um, here goes the teachers union boss says, uh, I mean, she's in here. She says, widely debunked 1619 project is a factual version of oppression in America. People, this is the teachers union head. I mean, look, we know it's partisan, but I mean, seriously, I mean, can you get off of this wokeism? It's not good for this country. Saying the 1619 project is factual is a slap in the face to history, because it's not. It's just a joke. I mean, here she goes. I'm going to play the video. I'll just read her quote to you. All of a sudden, you're hearing people talk about critical race theory. Weingarten said, people who have no idea what that term means or trying to ban the 1619 project because it's trying to do exactly what you're saying, which is to actually teach a factual version of oppression in America. Oppression abused people who are in the indigenous nation, and oppression against people who were enslaved. I mean, this Weingarten has been an advocate of keeping schools closed and blah, 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 blah. But yes, you know, if she knew what she was talking about when she says critical race theory, and understanding that critical race theory is an offshoot of critical theory, which is uh, Marxist ideology, and it is, and that's going to come up. I'm planning a whole video on the critique of this theory, and people will go, oh, I know. I'm a little uniquely qualified for that, just because the fact that not because of anything in particular. I just happens to be in my field of study. I'll just leave it at that. That's where I got my degree in. So I'm going to approach it from that angle. But here it goes. So, I mean, look, what have I said about the 16 project on numerous occasions and critical race theory and all this stuff? It's racism, plain and simple. It's racism guised in Marxism. I should disguise it's racism using Marxism, or I should say Marxism using racism as a way to destroy this country, because they can't go by class, because since Marxism talks about class, and in this country you can move up in class. That's because you're on the bottom of the scale doesn't mean can't raise up to the highest scale. So, but like I said, it's a form of racism. What can we do? Look, here we go. You know, this is the stuff that's going to get us in trouble. It's like, look, Biden's Secretary of Defense Austin, racial diversity in top ranks is urgent military readiness issue. No, no, no. Getting the right people, getting the right equipment, that's a readiness issue. Wanting diversity has nothing to do with military readiness. Okay. And I know people of color that are in the military. I got cousins, I got family members, I got friends who were in the military, people who are Spanish, black, white, you name it. The best people, the military is a meritocracy. It should be the best people in charge. Granted, sometimes it's the shadiest people, because that's what sometimes people who crave power, those are the people that end up going to the top because they crave it. But that's not the issue I'm going to talk about here. I'm just saying that the color of your skin, your ethnicity, your race, nothing. This has nothing to do with military readiness. And the fact that our enemies are laughing. China has to be laughing about this, because China, they don't have to worry about this. They're not a homogenous country. They're laughing at us because, look, they say diversity is our strength. Diversity would be our strength if we accepted the fact that we're all American, regardless if you were born here or you move here from another country and you decide to become American. That's, that's what used to be the unifying principle in this country, was us being American. Now it's like, people want to destroy this country just because the fact that they want power. And the power that they want is they want to change this country from uh, basically from a capitalist country to a socialist country. And people go, oh, socialist. Oh, here we go. Marxism. Yes, it's look, if you watch the video I watched yesterday, you have a guy who lived through communism and talked about his experiences having to wait 3 days for coffee. Imagine that, having to wait 3 days in a line just to get coffee. Coffee. Now, not no real, not no luxury right now. We have how many different brands of coffee we have, but just to get any type of coffee. And that's where that system ends up. You end up with authoritarian rule because communism can't you can't have communism and socialism in a democracy, because eventually people are going to want to get rid of it. Look at Venezuela. They're trying to get out. You Once you get into socialism, you can't get out. You have to have a violent revolution to get out of socialism. Look what's going on there. People fleeing from the country, people there, people losing weight year, on a monthly basis there. I forgot how much it was. It was a ridiculously high number. But that's what you get. And this is wokeism. This is the problem. This is one of the problems. But the biggest problem with wokeism and this whole ideology of it is my dumbest story of the day. Because here's my dumbest story of the day. Dems, we're reintroducing the Mommies Act to benefit birthing people. Birthing people. Do you mean women? Are you trying to assume their gender? It's like, come on. Look, listen. Only women, females, however, whatever term you want to use, are the only people who have periods and can get pregnant. That's it. Birthing people is ridiculous. Look, I don't got problems with any transgender people. Look, you want to be you want to be, you want to be one of the, infinite genders that you think are possible. Do you? Look, I'm a libertarian. I don't care. Just don't try to force your beliefs on me. That's it. Do you? But don't try to make me call you you made up pronouns. That's nonsense. And while we're at it, no, that Latinx or Latinx, whatever, however you want to call it, I don't want to be called that either. Stop forcing that stuff down my throat. We don't want it. What's the number here? 0.3% of the population wants to use it. Just curious. Here's a from Pew. Just 3% of U.S. Hispanics use the woke term Latinx or Latinx, whatever, however you want to call it. No, us Latinos, we don't want it. You can keep it. We don't want it. End the story. We don't believe in none of that nonsense when it comes to that word. You know what? We realize that our culture, our language is a masculine, feminine language, and we accept both parts of our culture. There's masculine parts of our culture and feminine parts of our culture, and we embrace it. Okay. And not, I don't know if it's going to get me in trouble with YouTube or whatnot, but that's why, Latinos usually um when they come out of the closet, they're fabulous. And if anybody knows that, maybe some people will laugh at that, some people won't. Not If you got offended, take that stick out of your butt. That's it. There was I forgot which comedian said, if you could take a D, you could take a joke. And you could do, you could fill in the blank of the three letters that go in front of the D. So, anyways, it's Friday. Happy it's Friday. And that's all I have for you for today. I hope you enjoyed my interview yesterday with Artur Pawlowski. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you check it out. It's very powerful, and the stuff that's going on in Canada that our news is not talking about is crazy. I mean, the amounts of tickets this guy is getting is it's just crazy. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what else to say. So, anyways, I'm the Right Rican. You can follow me on YouTube and Rumble. You can follow me on social media on Facebook, Twitter. Parler's been having issues. I haven't been posting much on Parlor, but I do post on Gab. So you can follow me on those places, and have a great week. Have a great weekend, everyone.